Welcome. Adriano already stole my line to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show live stream. Getting ahead of some Saturday games here. The later ones. Already obviously got one in action. Got my favorite bet in there with Franz under 19.5 points. Still looking all right. So we'll see how that one goes. Definitely want to get you guys in here and jump into the comments. I got the bottom line scrolling so you can see what we've got. This is actually Saturday's card, not Friday's card. So updating that. I've got a few bets in already. Take you guys through those real quickly while we have people climbing into the stream right now. No, it's early in some spots, obviously on a Saturday for some people, but we got plenty of bets to look at, y'all. So what's good, bro? Yo, that was mortified yesterday. I put up a video that didn't have the edits into it. So y'all got my countdown in there pretty consistently, but maybe I'll start the show off that way and just get on camera and be like 3, 2, and 1. All right. Let's look at the first game that we got coming up next, right? We're going to take a look at this Cavs game, this Phoenix and Minnesota game. That's the first one that's going to be up on the docket here today. Going to let y'all some of y'all still come in. I got Trevin already asking about Cat's stuff, so we'll throw him in here onto the upcoming stuff that we're looking at. I've got Ant in there. I got Booker assists as well, and I want to take a look at. I'll put Cat up first since we got that request from Trevin, and get that in there, and we can look at Cat. Exactly what you wanted to look at. Where am I at here? Cat. What were you talking about, Trevor? Thoughts on his points and rebounds? We could take a look at that for sure. My thing with Cat that I'd be worried about is the mismatch. But it's not like Naz Reid's going to have a better matchup. It's just like I think one of Rudy and Cat needs to be off the floor at some point. We might see the closing lineup there for that Timberwolves team with neither of them on it, to be honest. So that's kind of what I'm considering when I look at that Timberwolves game. But going to keep letting people crawl in here, and I'll just show you guys real quick in case you missed the video. I would definitely recommend subscribe to that page and continue to follow along. This is what we were riding with right now, hoping for Moritz to do a little bit more. The rebounds might have been the better play for Moritz. And then Brother Franz is under 19.5 points. He's at 8 right now, I believe, as the half closed. So we're going to go ahead and pray that he continues to not even get shots up because this is a bad matchup for him, which is why we took the under for Brother Franz there. And then the only other bets that you could still make, and if you wanted to bet some live stuff, obviously you could use that. But I did love Josh Hart to get his in this game and for the Knicks to cover over 10.5 boards. I got it at plus 110. You can still get it at like minus 102, minus 105 in that range. So it's still a really good number because it's so high. But for Hart, what I'm looking at is basically the rebound chances and the fact that these bigs for the Knicks are going to be busy boxing out Joel, which leaves him a little bit of a lane to come in and get the offensive rebounds as well, considering how bad this Philly team is at limiting offensive rebounds in general, like 25th on the season in terms of their defensive rebound percentage. But I also got this Knicks team here at minus 2.5, minus 115. A lot of the stuff I go over in that video from last night is going to explain why really well. So letting some other people get in here. What's good? Free Sauce got you coming in. Got Jay Sanity in here as well. We talk about Reeves right now. That was, I think you just brought that up, right, Jay? Yeah, in the Discord. So I got that on the card to come up here with this Lakers game. So I got Reeves on here. I am going to kick it off with the while I got you guys in here, I'm going to kick it off with Cat, and then I will go to Reeves since we got people already jumping in and asking about it. I don't need to necessarily stay in too much order, but let me start with Cat and a few of these bets for the game that's coming up next here. I'm going to share my screen as I do. We're kind of going back to the old school roots here, y'all, of just like, I mean, I have some plays, but really we need to take a look at this stuff together, and I can show you some of the process and see how you guys appreciate some of that, right? All right, let me get my banners up correctly here. All right. Taking this one down, going to share this screen, get this going with y'all. Bring this to the stage. All right. And I need one more thing. Make sure I'm ready here. All right. Put myself in the right spot. So yeah, what I'm considering here at this point for the Suns game real quick. Let's get into a couple of things there since I got all my stuff messed up. My bad, y'all. I got to bring up this other thing real quick so we can get this right. Where are we at here? Just gonna come on screen share. All right, cool. Where am I still the screen share at? Cool. All right. So looking at like I said, the Cat stuff we can start with here. Let me take a look at my props.cash. That's where we're starting. If you're not familiar yet with props.cash, obviously highly recommend that. Always do, and would continue to start there as a really good starting point for these props. All right, looking at Cat. how he's done against this team, right? Specifically, you can see right here, not the assists. We'll look at the points and the rebounds. So points and rebounds against the Suns this season, he's played twice against them. Missed, and really the second one, he's just kind of coming back, right? So the first one, you can see he played a few more minutes, 31 there, 29 in the second game against them this season. And the matchup for him is kind of what I want to look at real quick. So I'm going to go into that game log for the last time these teams played. And pull up the Minnesota, the box score, so we can see the matchup stuff, because this is really important for obviously who's guarding who. Always want to know that kind of stuff. Why is this not coming up correctly for me? Hold up, y'all. I need to edit this. My bad. All right. Putting this up here. Making this filled. All right. Struggle bus today. So looking at the box score real quick, and we can look at some of these matchups. All right, advanced box score going into the time that they played Phoenix. I'll just do all the Phoenix games, and we can even start with this last one, but I'll start with Phoenix because they finished the season, obviously, against each other. Phoenix wiped the floor with them. A lot of people still on Phoenix, as you can probably see all over the place, for Phoenix to keep winning against this team, as they won all three. You can see they lost all three here. Let's go to this first Cat game against Phoenix and see what was going on there. Now, the thing about this game was Cat played 31 minutes, Rudy 24. Not even really any foul trouble. They just could only go with one big. That's kind of what I was referencing at the end of the game. They really only could afford to have one big on the floor. Plus, this thing ended up getting out of hand pretty quick. For the matchups, I'm going to look at that right now. Change traditional to matchup so I can see who was guarding Cat and vice versa. So I'm going to go with offensive player, or actually defensive player for Cat, and see who his matchup was right quick. For Cat, you can see he's guarding a lot of smaller dudes until Drew Eubanks gets on there, right? And that's a problem. And then for Rudy as well, I kind of want to see who he was guarding. And you can see they kind of had to stagger their minutes because they can go small, can this Phoenix Suns team. So he was only on the floor when Nurk and Eubanks were really on the floor. That was a big part of it. And then he got caught up having to guard guys like Booker at times. And that's how you get jump shots going in all over the place for this Phoenix team. For Cat, like when he's guarding those smaller dudes, that makes it a little bit more scary for him to get those points and rebounds. So he's at 6.5 boards here. Let's look at his rebound chances real quick versus this team this season. So I'm going to go to players in the NBA stats tab again and change that to rebound chances, which is under tracking data here. I'm going to go to rebounds for Cat. So I'm going to go to rebounding, and I'm going to make this the Minnesota Timberwolves on offense. Obviously, this is their team. I'm going to make them versus the Phoenix Suns as well, so we can see what he did in the games that he played against them. So the rebound chances for Cat, 10.5 in this one, 6.5 boards, and that's what he had in the two combined. Playing 30 minutes, and I think, probably up to about 35 here. So you probably add a few rebound chances for him in that one, maybe get him up to about 12 in this game, and then get him, maybe he gets another rebound off of that, and looking at 7.5. So I would definitely tend to lean towards the over. I would say if there's anybody that's going to get run off the floor, it would be Rudy. And that's what we saw in the previous game as well, where Rudy got sort of like played only that 24 minutes here, right? I also want to make sure that this game like pretty much over in the first half. If you look at the summary, 6 points, and then 22 points at half that this Phoenix Suns team was up. So that's a big part of it as well. And they needed shooting to get back in the game. But I think that's going to be what you see here is like between Cat and Rudy, they cannot be on the floor at the same time once this lineup for the Suns goes small. Even in this last game where they played against each other, and I'll keep going back real quick so we can get back to the right. And this is the April 14th, just played this game against each other. You look at who was playing another just complete beatdown from this Suns team as they were hitting a ton of shots. But look, they only played Nurk 20 minutes in this game. Grayson Allen got minutes. All the obvious starters got minutes. And then they put a lot of Royce O'Neal in there as well. So if that's the case, and we keep going small here for this Phoenix Suns team, then we got problems. As far as the rebounds go for Cat real quick at 6.5, I think that's right on the line. You got to take minus 130 so that I don't get any edge for that. On the points, 18.5. Even since he's come back, obviously he struggled to kind of find his rhythm in the offense, only playing really short minutes. So if you think he's going to get minutes in this game, which I think Cat is the one that gets a few more minutes, even though he's had a ton of playoff issues in his career, right? Let's see what he did last year in the playoffs. And that was against Denver, right? So if you look at last year in the playoffs, he did have a couple good games there. And then really was just non-existent for like 3 of these, including the opener against Denver, which is what I would be afraid of with Cat. So, man, I'm just going to look real quick at who was guarding Cat as well and see if he ever had any kind of quality mismatches. So I put Cat on offense and see who was his primary defender. KD, he should be able to do stuff, but I mean, 1 point on KD here in this last game. This is Yeah, this is the last one where he still played like 29 minutes in that one. Yeah, I'm kind of off Cat, to be honest with you. That one kind of scares me a little bit because of the matchups. Not sure that he's going to get what he needs from that one. That's why I do like Grayson Allen. I also got him rolling on the bottom line because I think he's going to get a lot of those minutes, and he's going to be sort of the X factor in that one. I'll just kind of show you what I'm talking about real quick there, and then we can move on to a couple other plays in this one. Yeah, I'm so off of Brad Beal as well. I can see y'all talking about that in there. But let me, Daryl's also looking at Grayson Allen, and I like the points, but I also like the rebounds as somebody that they need to come in and get boards for them. So looking at that real quick, pulling that up. Yeah, so looking at the Grayson Allen stuff that I was talking about a minute ago, the thing that I'm looking at here for Grayson is like the minutes for sure. So in the first game that he played them this season, where he ended up, look at head to head. So in the first, I got playoffs up, my bad. In the first game he played against him this season, 14 points, but he played about 27 and 28 minutes in that one. You can see right here. The last two, he really got inserted into the starting lineup and just stayed there and is playing big starter minutes, 33 minutes, back to back against this team. The rebounds for him, he's actually second on the team in rebound chances, if you can believe that. Just showing you what I mean real quick. We'll switch this up. So we're on player tracking data for these rebounds, and we can see that the Phoenix Suns here versus Minnesota. And so first of all, let me show you all 3 games. You can see in 3 games he had, look, Jordan Goodwin played 1 game, had 10 rebound chances somehow, but that's not as sustainable. As you can see with Grayson, he plays 31 minutes a game in the 3 versus this team. 8.7 boards is good for second most, rebound chances rather, good for second most and second most rebounds, 5.7 in this situation, because it's similar to Josh Hart, which is like Josh Hart needs to come in and get rebounds for this against Philly, because they're going to be busy dealing with the centers. Like his big men are going to be busy dealing with Joel. In this game, you're going to see Nurk and whomever else is big going to be really busy boxing out dudes that are bigger than them. Like if you got KD boxing out Cat, if you've got Nurk boxing out either of these centers, especially Rudy, then you really need someone else to come in and get these rebounds, because he's not even really getting contested rebounds. You can see he's at 65% rebound chance percentage, and only 17.6% of them are contested because he's coming in with a free lane to get those boards. So I really like the Grayson boards, but I also like the shots for him. He's taken 10 shots a game in the last 2 against this, or on the season, and in the last 2 he's taken about 12.5 shots per game against this Minnesota team, which is what I look for. You look for the minutes, you look for the points, and I think that's what Grayson's good for in this one, to keep getting that as the dude who's going to kind of score from the corner. I'll pull up Props Madness real quick as one more thing, and we'll move on from Grayson. But you can see when I pull up the right game, where are we at here? Phoenix, Minnesota. So you can see when I pull up his shot chart, pulling up Grayson, he's going to be doing obviously a lot of spot up, which they're good at, but he's going to be taking mostly threes, right? Most of his shots come from deep, which they need from him. And so I think that's going to be a huge part of why, he's going to have success getting some shots up in this one. He's going to sort of be the last dude where the ball's moving around the wing for the Suns team, and they get the assist to him off of those threes. So I like Grayson for both the points and the rebounds. The rebounds feel really, really good, to be honest with you. So that's another bet that I already have in for you guys. So got that one going. Let me bring this up and try to just make it make sense. I hate how this layout is looking. It's because I don't have all my graphics up. Computer issues this weekend, y'all, but we'll move past it. All right, so I got Grayson in there. I know there was a couple other people asking about a couple things for this game before we move on, so I want to make sure we get that. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't know when I'm gonna bet Bradley Beal. Like I can't figure out the time and place for him to get his. But if y'all got anything for Brad Beal, let me know what you're seeing and why you think that's gonna be the case. So actually, we got an explanation from Free Sauce real quick. You think Beal's gonna be free option versus the Wolves, which is what I think is gonna be more for Grayson Allen. But either way, they're gonna smother Book and KD. Yeah, that's definitely true. I agree with that. And so yeah, he might be the outlet, right? It's like where does the pressure come from? Where does the pressure sort of let loose in this Phoenix team? Who do they sort of let shoot a little bit more? And I do think it's going to be Grayson, but Beal is another good option just for that. So I would agree with that. Let's see real quick for a couple other things. We should look at Ant, right? Because this is Ant's first game. So let me get up some Ant stuff. Let's look at Ant versus this team on COURTSIDE Pal real quick. So for those of y'all that don't know COURTSIDE Pal, this is another great tool that we always use. It's going to show us player profile and player type rather than just player position. So I'll put Ant in here, Anthony Edwards, and take a look at that. real quick. Obviously, first playoff game for Ant. I wouldn't bank against him, to be honest with you. Let's see how he's done against this team, though. His shooting profile versus Phoenix, 15th, scoring profile, 14th. So right in the middle of the pack there for Ant. Let me see how he's done real quick against this team this season on props.cash again. Looking at him at the bottom. 25.5 points, golly, against this Phoenix team. Has not done that this season. Did it last season. Had Cat in for 2 of these, and he's back again. That's terrifying. The rebounds and assists, not doing that either this season against them. Wait, go back to head-to-head. Yeah, all 3 under pretty consistently. And that stuff for Ant. PRA not even coming close. 36.5 PRA. And he has not touched that against this team. Looking at the last 10, went clean off against Washington, but Ant's kind of in a little bit of a slump, it looks like, right? That was something I was considering for him earlier, was like, does Grant just go off? Or does Ant just go off? But to be honest, this is not looking like quite the matchup for Ant. Let's put up rebounds. Obviously, Minnesota, one of the best rebounding teams in the league, 4th fewest rebounds to his rebounding profile as far as playmaking goes for him. Yeah, Minnesota, I mean, they're just going to be one of the best defenses in the league. I wouldn't feel too comfortable with that. The thing about this matchup is the jump shooting, right? That's the only way that you can really beat Minnesota's defense pretty cleanly, is get those jump shots in. So I'm kind of out on Ant. In fact, I'm now really strongly considering the under, as crazy as that might sound, even though I led this off by saying I don't know that I would ever take an under for Ant right now with the way that he's playing. But this one's a little bit different, y'all. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Let me pull up one more thing real quick, because I want to get this this stuff working right. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments if y'all disagree with anything to do with Ant. I just can't feel good about that with the way that he's going to be playing this defense. If they focus on him, and we can look at historical stuff right here, because I kind of want to see other players that are similar to him. And actually, Props Madness is good for that. If we go to Ant in this matchup, let's see at the top. Yeah, if we go to Ant in this matchup, you look at other players that Props Madness kind of has as comparable to Ant right now. I would make sure, yeah. So we got D-Fox still kind of went under here, 23 points. Donnie, I mean, this is all still under in this stuff. These are similar players with recent numbers against his team, and some of them do go off for the key scores at the top of the key. If you look at where he's scoring from, obviously pick and roll, a huge thing for him. They do defend it well, but 20th against the pick and roll for this team isn't going to really be that good. So I think the PRA as a whole is kind of where I'm at for the under for Ant. And that's what I'm going to go with, bro. Like, I just, with the way that they can throw, I mean, we'll probably see a little bit more Josh Okogie, and the defense for Phoenix has been really good as of late as well. Just pulling that up real quick. I just kind of want to see how they ended the season on defense, and then I can feel pretty good about this Ant under, even if he gets the minutes. Like, against this team this season, the minutes 35, 32, 30, and even in those 35 last games still struggled a ton. I don't think they're going to give up if they're down as much, but the way that this team can kind of handle Ant's exactly what Ant wants to do, it's not going to be as pretty for him. If you look at where he's shooting from, opponent defense, yeah, I guess if he can get some above the break stuff, then he could hit those threes. What are his threes at? 2.5 or plus 108. Terrifying. Yeah, they're clearly focused in on Ant. I'm gonna take the under for him, and I thought I might come in here and do that. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about the under for Ant right now. I'm gonna get that in there. Apologies to whoever might want to take it over for him. I'm not, obviously do you, but I can't condone that with Ant playing with the way this team's D'd up on Ant. So I'm taking Ant under 36.5 PRA. Let me see where I get the best number on that real quick, and that's gonna be on the bottom line for y'all as well. So check that out. Pulling up the best number here so I can make sure I get the juice right for Ant. PRA, I think there's just too much there with the rebounding too, where he's playing on the perimeter. You can get 37.5 on points bet. I really don't ever bet there, so I'm gonna get, I'll take it on Caesars for sure. Minus 108 on Caesars for him to go under there. Do what you will with that, y'all. I know that sounds scary. We're gonna go minus 108 on Caesar for Ant to go under 36.5 PRA, and I got a half a unit on that. All right, keeping it moving here with a couple other things. I know there was a look at KD. I want to see what you're looking at, Free Sauce, where you're talking about KD under on the threes. Let me see what we got for that real quick. Kevin Durant. PR is at 34 threes. The under is minus 140. Look at that, juiced all the way down. You can get minus 125 on DraftKings as well if you want to take under the threes for him. Against this team, where's he shooting from? How many did he even take? Yeah, 3, 4, 2, 4. And this season, he's averaging 3 a game attempts against them. That's a pretty good look. He hit two once on 2 attempts where he went 100%, right? I don't think we want to bank on that. But they're clearly running him off the line for sure. I think that's a really good look on the threes right there. If you want to fade KD's threes, it doesn't even look like he's taking them against this team. Like I think we were both kind of talking about how either Grayson Allen or Brad Beal are a much better look for the threes because they are the dudes who are kind of seeing the ball end up in their hands after that moves around the perimeter, and they're taking those shots a little bit more from the corner. KD playing a little bit more above the break than those two dudes, and Brad Beal and Grayson Allen can get a little bit more better looks there. Let's look at where he's mostly shooting from. Obviously, he's a mid-range god as well. So yeah, if you see where they defend really well from, they're actually 23rd against the mid-range in terms of the amount of points, and KD's taking 31% of his shots from there, 25% above the break, a lot of threes, and then getting close to the basket, but no corner stuff, right? And they're a little bit worse, at least in one of the corners, and when it comes to 3-point shots that they give up, and that would be a little bit more Grayson Allen and a lot, and also Brad Beal as well. Just looking at where Brad Beal's, not quite as much from the corners, but they're at least stepping in and getting that. Grayson Allen is the corner shooter. That's why I do like him to keep hitting those threes and hitting those and getting those points and the rebounds. But I think the KD threes under is a really good look, even for minus. What's the best number there? If you can get minus, this is Brad Beal putting up KD. If you can at least get like minus 120, is that what we were saying? Yeah, minus 120. You can get minus 125 on DraftKings. I still think that's a pretty good edge for him based on the amount of shots that he's taken from there, right? Now, how many is Book taking as well? I kind of want to use that against this team. He's taking a lot more threes for sure. KD's stepping in. He can't be the only one. They can't all just be chucking threes against this team and hoping that works. So that's a really good look for under on KD threes. I like that from you, Free Sauce. I'm gonna put that in there as well. And make sure this bottom line gets going again. But yeah, we're going to take KD under 2.5 threes. That's a, like you said, pretty high line, but most people don't want to take under on KD threes. But if he's not even taking them, how many has he been taking in the last few games, just to make sure I'm not missing anything? Like, has he just started chucking threes by any means? Let's see the 3-point attempts over the last bunch of games. 7 against Sac. That's gonna be the case. The Clips 9, which is something he's done. Yeah, so it's teams that are much worse 3-point shooting, like the Pellies, the Clips, and Sac, all not very good 3-point defenses. But then you talk about him and Cleveland, pretty bad 3-point defense as well. But yeah, he's not taking advantage of that against this Timberwolves squad. So I like the under 2.5 threes for KD here. We can get that minus 125 on DK, 1.5 units on that, keeping him moving. Appreciate the look there, bruh. We got Ant as well. Only other thing on this game that I want to look at is Booker assists, and I'm going to check the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything for you guys. But yeah, I would say even if you don't like KD threes, Azania, you can still feel pretty good about the points from where he's shooting from. That the thing too, what was his points been against this team? He's at 24.5, only hit it in the first game, and really isn't taking that many shots in general. I feel like they definitely look to shut him down. Let me look at that matchup real quick and see who was guarding KD. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything on that. But I think if we got KD with McDaniels on him, let me just look at this last matchup real quick. And I look at box score matchups, and I'm going to put KD on offense. Kevin Durant on offense is being guarded by Ant. Wow. He should be able to shoot over the top. Doesn't look like he had he shot 4 for 6. He just didn't take very many shots. And he only went, only 6 shots. 9.5 minutes. And then you've probably got Book being guarded by McDaniels at that point. Yeah. So he's on Booker, which he still got 9 against him, shooting 42% from the field though. And then even Nikhil Walker-Alexander, that's a problem. What's Book's points been at against this team as well? I liked him for the assist is kind of what I was looking at for Booker. I think that might be the play if the ball is forced out of his hands and he is the pick and roll guy. Let's see. He's on the season this year, 1 of 3 going over in the points at 24.5. Last 2, he's gone over on the assists. Let's look at the potential as always. 18 in that one game where he got 13, 7 on 10, 5 on 7. So he really just needs the potential assists. Over the last 10 for him, his potential assists, he's gone over this pretty consistently. 6 out of 10. And then the potentials at 12.5. So 12.5 potentials on average to get the 7. Ooh, and even 8 over here. That's a little bit scary as well. Let me put him in courtside pal real quick. I'm put Booker in here against this team, see if there's anything different about the way that he plays that might help him get some dimes. Looking at his playmaker stuff, they're not going to be anywhere near the top. Yeah, Minnesota. third fewest. I mean, they're not going to be giving up shit to anybody, bro. So his rebounds, I guess he's a little bit more likely to get rebounds against his team than any of the bigs. As far as his scoring, yeah, I mean, he's a little bit more likely to score from where he's shooting from in his shooting profile, but the scoring profile is still at 22nd against this team. That's scary to be taking too many overs in this one is a bit scary, to be honest with you. Let's see. Trying to see if there's anything else with this one. My bad, bro. I'm trying to get through all this stuff as fast as we can. I got another like 35 minutes to get through it. But let me know if you have any questions about what I'm saying over here. We can go back through some stuff. What I'm looking at here on Courtside Pal to make sure everybody's still with me is just this is his profile stuff. So if you're on Courtside Pal, the link is in the description of the video. Play around with it and take a look at it. I go down to team rank versus player type, and I try to look at what is his shooting profile and his scoring profile in terms of points per game. I go to rebounds to see his rebounding profile and see how many rebounds that this team is likely to give up to his sort of rebounding profile, right? Like where does he get rebounds? How does he get rebounds? That type of stuff. And then PM is playmaker. So I go to assists and I try to see what are his assists, his playmaking role, which is a PM6 is how they have him listed. You can check out the different types of playmaking profiles that they have up here. I really recommend it for those of y'all that might not be aware of how to use this one, but check that stuff out. The props madness stuff real quick. This is helpful because then we can see play type and right down here and how the defense ranks against that play type as well, which I always try to show you guys on traditional stats on NBA, but you can also just see it right here on Props Madness, which is one of the reason it's one of my favorite tools. I'm also going to have the creator of this product, Pips, on tomorrow for the live stream as we look at those Sunday games. So make sure you check that out. Tomorrow, if you want to come back and watch us use this tool with the dude who uses it the most and created it for the love of God. But yeah, he's going to be the pick and roll ball handler. I guess they are a little bit more weak because they're a little bit weaker against the pick and roll ball handler. You can see they're 21st here defending pick and roll ball handlers, and that's what Book does as much as anything. And this is points though, so it doesn't really help us with the assists. And let's see where he does step in and shoot from where they need him to shoot from. I feel like at least one of these two dudes is going over, right, between Book and KD in the points, but I'm not positive which one it is. Book did really well last game and played 35 minutes, so still not much of an edge. I really like the a little bit more of the role player props if you want to take an over in this one. Otherwise, I think it's just too high for some of these dudes to take an over. So I don't love betting on either of these teams. So I'm going to go to a game that I do feel a little bit more confident in as we look here now at the next one that we have up, which obviously is going to be that Knicks game. So I already talked about the Josh Hart over on the rebounds if you want that. If there's a couple other bets in here that people were looking at for the Knicks game as well. Daryl likes over on the threes for Embiid. I can understand that. Let me take a look at Embiid here for a sec. I mean, the question is do you think that Embiid is going to be healthy? And I don't, but that doesn't mean that he can't be taking those threes. Let's see what his stuff is at here on Props Cash. And I am going to pull this up, bro. I know I might lose some of y'all, but I need to bring up my other graphic real quick because this is a problem. I hate the way that this looks right now. So pulling up, let's see, my live stream stuff. You can go ahead and ignore. All right, pulling up the live stream graphics. There we go, live stream. All right, ignore, bro. All right, pulling this up. Like I said, I know this is going to annoy some of y'all, but I got to get the correct graphics up here because this is just absolutely messing with me. I'm pulling up the Philly New York game real quick, and then we're moving on. But yeah, Josh Hart over 10.5 rebounds. For those of y'all that are not yet aware, I would definitely, I still really love that bet a ton. So if you want to hit that one's already up. That was out in the Discord. Also a reminder to jump in that Discord. It's in the description of the video. So you can find that there if you need it. Got a lot of people that are in here right now giving some really good bets as well that I get a lot from in there. So let me export this thing real quick and get the right one up because this is bothering me to all hell. All right. Pulling that up on the stream right now. And I'll see if there's a couple other bets that y'all are bringing up that I don't know about yet that you put in the comments. All right. Knicks PNG. Whew, that was bothering me. All right. Get into the right spot here. Where am I at? bro. All right, thank you. All right, that was bothering me hella, so I had to get rid of that. But now we got the screen up. All right, moving on with some other things for this game. Embiid. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's what we can look at real quick. Is if he's not healthy, does that mean that he's going to be out on the perimeter a little bit more? Definitely possible. So let me pull up this Knicks game on props.cash to see his stuff here. Looking at OB, you do get a pretty good look for him. It's not like he's really tried that against this team necessarily. He's got one make consistently on just 2 attempts against this squad. So I mean, in the last 10 since he's come back, I realize he's done that a bit more. So maybe there is something to that, because in these, he's gone over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the last 6 since he came back, right? And all 5 of these, the 3-point shots for him, yeah, I mean, they're up a bunch. I guess he was just kind of toying with Detroit when he took 9. Orlando, he'd rather go outside. Miami, he was down to go outside. But 2 to get 2 on like 4 attempts, how does that make you feel? Makes me a little bit nervous, to be honest. Now, plus 108 is good juice for sure, and you can get plus 110 on DraftKings if you want it. So I understand that look. It's not like the Knicks are going to be bad above the break either, although their defense has been a little bit worse. Let's see if it's gotten worse, because we know that's where he's going to be shooting from, right? So I'm going to actually go to the NBA stats page. I want to look at the above the break stuff against this Knicks team real quick. So I'm going to go to teams opponent shooting, and I'm going to look at by zone. And I'm going to see how the Knicks have been above the break. And I'm actually going to dumb this down. So on the season, yeah, I mean, they're going to be one of the best teams in the league from everywhere on defense for the season. But on the season, they're giving up like the 5th fewest. That said, in the last like 10 games, their defense has gone down a ton, like we've seen, right? So putting up the last 10 for this team above the break, let's see if that's gotten any worse for them. So they were limiting teams to the 4th fewest. They are still right up there. Yeah. So it's not like you're going to glean anything from looking at their above the break stuff, even though that's where Joel is going to be shooting from. I can understand the thought process of him not wanting to bang down low, and we've seen that with him a lot in the last few games as well. So I get that. But at the same time, against this team, he hasn't been doing it. Now, let me see one more thing real quick. If we look at the last 10 for him in those 3-point attempts in general, before he left those games before he got hurt, looking at the 3-point attempts again, yeah, still see 6 against Miami, 6 against Golden State. Yeah, not much of a correlation there. I mean, at 4.4 over his last 10, including before he got hurt, I can understand that. But we have 3-4 games here against this team where he has not been shooting those at all. He played them only once this year, it looks like, right? Yeah. Only one head-to-head this year, one attempt, one make on, was it 2 attempts from 3? So, yeah, so not even 1 attempt from 3, and he made one of them. So there's nothing there for him on that. Although if he makes that one, then yeah, obviously you're golden. So I can understand that if you like it. It is easier than battling down low, but yeah, I mean, it's at plus 110. Go for it. Like, I'm not going to talk you off of it. It's just not something that I can see not enough volume for that shot for him for me to feel good about it. So I got the bottom line scrolling again, which I keep forgetting. Apologies. I'll leave that up. I want to look at a couple other things in here. No one's really brought up Jalen Brunson or anything like that. But if y'all don't have anything else for this game, then we can move it on for real. So because I think I really do want to look at that Lakers game as well. I think there's gonna be some fun stuff to look at in there. I know y'all want to look at D'Lo. I know you guys want to look at I got LeBron, by the way. I don't know if I made that clear, so I'm doing that. Yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah, y'all are good on this game. It's gonna be a good game though. Brunson going Brunson. Yeah, there's no reason to worry about him. Okay, you got free sauce coming in with Kyle Lowry. We got Dante threes. Let's just take a look at how those dudes have done so far. So I'm also gonna see. We got to project some minutes for these dudes. To be honest, is where we kind of start as well. Obviously, Joel on the points is good, but he's getting a lot of those at the free throw line and down low. Was Kyle Lowry assists or points that you wanted to look at? Points, yeah, over 5.5 points. Let's see. I mean, head to head, he'd been going over against this team. Played them a number of times this season, consistently going over. Yeah, he's in the starting lineup now, and it's playoff time. So you're probably going to trust Kyle Lowry a lot more than you might otherwise. 27.5 minutes. How many shots has he taken in? So 5.3 shots. Took 10 against Miami. You knew you wanted to play well against Miami. He's in that starting lineup as the shooting guard more than anything, to be honest. You've seen his threes go up a bit. I don't see why not. Now, the field goals is what scares you. Let's see how many field goals he's been taking against this team. In the last one that they played, he only took those 2 shots right there. He took 4 shots and had 2 points in that last one. He played just 21 minutes, though. I think you got to project him for the 28 that he's been playing over the last 10 as well. So in 28 minutes, if he does play at least 28, let's bump this up to 28 and make that the minimum. So when he plays 28 minutes against this team, he goes over super consistently, as you can see. Even just this year in the 2 that he's played, this one was on Miami on 11/24. This one was with Philly on 3/10. Now, he didn't have Joel in there, so obviously that's a bit of a problem. I do like the 9 field goal attempts I'm seeing from him. I just don't know if I can bank on that for him in this game. We got to do, I guess, playoffs. He took a few more, but that was with Miami. Is a little bit different. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're looking at here for Embiid, for Kyle Lowry. But it's a little bit now above the break. Let me just look at him on Props Madness real quick as well. Pulling up Kyle Lowry. Yeah, everything's above the break for him. Knicks still a top 5 team, top 10 team living above the break. They're much worse in the corner. So let's just go with that as a good starting point. Let's go to team shooting so we can see who be shooting in the corners. I'm pretty sure it's Toby and Kelly Oubre who are shooting corner shots for this team. So I'm going to go to team shooting on offense now. I'm sorry, I got to go to player shooting so I can see which player is shooting. So I'm going to go to players on NBA Advanced Stats. I'm going to go to shooting. I'm going to make this the Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm going to go by zone because I want to see who's doing the bulk of the corner threes for this team because this Knicks team plays such high pressure defense. As you see, I'm looking on Props Madness at their opponent defense. You can see their 4th most points per game from this corner and the 9th most points per game from that corner. So let's just use that as a good way to see who is shooting those threes for this squad. Oh, right. Our good friend Nick Batum, who was scoring all up and down on the Heat last game, who play a similar style of defense, right? And getting those threes, they give up those threes from the corner, just like this Knicks team does a bit more. Interesting. Now, in the last, so in this season against the Knicks, he's played 4 games against them and has not taken very many shots. Now he's taken 3 threes, 2 threes, 4, 3, 1. So it's not like he has a history of doing this against his team, but I also think that Nick Nurse is going to want to trust him the way he trusted him in that last game with a few more minutes. And the one that he did have 30 minutes against them, he took just the 2 threes. That's really interesting to me. This should be a player that is good for threes. Now it's at 1.5. They juiced it all the way up instead of giving you the half a 3 for Nick in this game. Looking at the last 5 for him in general, obviously he hasn't done it that consistently. And now the fact that he just did it so well against the Heat and hit 6 of them, you got people that are on him about that. I really would have liked it there, but yeah, just we'll look at Dante as well. But yeah, I mean, why not with the Nick Batum, honestly? Why not indeed? It's the threes, though. It's either the threes or nothing, honestly. That's tough with the way that it just seems like if they're trusting him and he's in the corners, then this is the player that you want to back. The only other dude taking shots in the corner, yeah, I'm not touching BJ Tucker. He's not even on this team anymore. Kelly Oubre as well and Buddy. Let's look at theirs real quick. I'm sure Kelly's at least 1.5, if not 2. I want to see if I just like that anymore at all. He's been going over against this team. Look at that for the points for Kelly O. The threes for Kelly O against this squad, 3 of them made. So yeah, over 1.5 for plus money might not be a bad look. Looking at his last 10, how many threes is he shooting? 5.5 to get 2. Yeah, so it's just like which one of these dudes. I was talking about Kelly O and Nick Batum in the last game and trying to decide between them 2 and Buddy to a degree. But Buddy, I also don't really trust at all right now, and I've been not trusting him. And you get way more juice for taking some of these other guys. I'm for real torn right now. But oh no, Azania. Oh no, I'm putting the comment away. We're not talking about it. And yes, sir, KJM, the ADD is real, brother. But get me back on course whenever you need me to come back to earth here. So yeah, we're just to be clear, because I see it in the chat. Music lit. We got Grayson PR. I'm going over on that, but let's see what the chat thinks if they're gonna like it with you. Which one do I take, bro? It almost just seems like take like at least one of them. Kelly O going over on the points is wild. The threes, I don't know if I want to have to rely on, but if he's gonna hit the threes anyway. I know his shots were down, but I like the fact that in all 4 this season on Philly, he's been the problem against them. I would imagine he's not getting any OG Anunoby on him. They just played on the 12th. I believe OG was back, right? So let me go into that box score real quick for the last game that these teams played and just see if I can find anything for how they matched up. But I think I'm leaning towards Kelly O as the dude to sort of the role player to get the points in this one for their squad. So yeah, I'm gonna probably look at Kelly O real quick. What I was looking at is the matchups. I'm gonna pull up this Knicks team so I can go to their advanced box score and change that music for y'all. My bad. All right, looking at advanced box scores up here. And you know what? I'm sorry, y'all, but I got to check on these bets real quick. I don't think that we're going to get much from Moritz at this point. And this one is already getting out of hand as well. Looking at the box score, Franz still at 8. Love that. Didn't score in the third right here. And Mo didn't get any run in the third. Those 6 minutes for Mo are mind-boggling to me. But once Jonathan Isaac got thrown in the starting lineup and Wendell Carter Jr. had to come off the bench, then it was kind of a wrap, to be honest, for Moritz. If you took just the rebounds for him, he's at 3.5. You can still, you still hit that bet. But I don't know if he's going to get the burn at this point, unless it's just garbage time, which maybe we rely on garbage time for Moritz to get his. That sounds dope. All right. I'm looking at this box score real quick. I keep claiming to, but I definitely wanted to see how we were doing our bets. All right. Looking at the Knicks and Philly, I got to go to versus Philly here. This is box score stuff within the team stats page. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. This is versus Philly. Trying to do 8 things at once. Philly here. Let's see, March 12th. We'll start with this one real quick. I just want to see once it actually works. Yeah, that was a blowout too. Did Kelly get that garbage time at the end? And that's how he got his stuff. I think 30 minutes is probably where you put him at. Obviously, Joel wasn't in this one. It wasn't even close. So it's a little bit tough to gauge how that one went. Let's see. They played with Joel Jan 5th, right before he got hurt. And that was a gross game as well. Golly. But I at least want to see the matchups here. So Nick Batum actually got the start. So did Kelly. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the start that we see in this game as well, to be honest with you. That would make sense with Nick being someone that they trust a lot more in this in the playoffs. Let's go to matchup so we can see what we're talking about here. I'm putting Kelly O on offense to see who was guarding him in this one. And it was a mix of Dante, Quentin Grimes, Josh Hart. You'll see probably mostly Dante with no Quentin Grimes taking minutes from him at this point. And Dante is a good defender. So is Quentin Grimes, though, to be honest. So how he's doing there, I mean, yeah, this is the one where, let's see, this game wasn't even close either. You had OG. I just wanted to make sure OG was not on him. In fact, maybe Tobias is the fade. I'm going to go back to this matchup stuff and see defensive player. Who is OG guarding and clamping up, I got to imagine. And it is Tyrese. Interesting. They put him. That makes sense. Put your best defender on your best player, on their best perimeter player anyway. That could be interesting. Tyrese, 22.5. He had 17. I'm make sure I'm in the right game. This is the one. What date was this? My bad. Just looking at the summary real quick. This date was on January the 5th. He still had 27 points in that game, and with OG on him. So I don't think that's quite a look right there necessarily just because OG was guarding him last game, bro. But Oubre is really interesting me still, honestly. Let's put him in prop stock. Prop. What am I doing here? Courtside pal. Putting Kelly O. Oubre in here, not the other Kelly O. Kelly Oubre Jr. Points. It's really like, even if he's anywhere, it just sucks to have to do this against the Knicks. There's never going to be anything that they're bad at, honestly, right? So that's what annoys you about it. Let's see. For I'm pulling up Kelly O on here. Is he who I have? No, I got Kyle Lowry up here. Pulling up Kelly O one more time on Props Madness, see if anything stands out to me there. Only 11% of his shots from the corners. He's trying to get all the way to the rim. He does drive to the rim a ton, and that could be a problem as someone he's shooting nearly 50% of his shots at the rim. He drives to the basket just as much as he does anything. Tries to get out in transition as well. But yeah, it's the pick and roll ball handler that usually scores against this team, and we know that that's Tyrese, right? So I think if you're talking about points, if you were looking for overs, I think Tyrese is the play, going all the way to the bucket, shooting above the break as well. Yeah. That makes sense. I can't condone Tobias. I think if you're going to go over for points at any of these dudes, I do think Kelly and Tyrese are the plays on this 76ers squad. I'm staying away, but I wanted to get through that stuff for you guys, and I want to hit Dante DiVincenzo as well because I keep getting asked about him, and I don't want to leave y'all hanging on DDV. So let's look at DDV. Really bumping up against those numbers here against this Philly team, right up against them. 16, 15, 14, 16, all against the 76ers this season, going under in all of them, but bumping up against it. So I see what y'all are seeing with the green here for how many threes he's making against this squad, though. And that's a big part of it, too, right? I'm imagining that's what we're looking at here is the threes because of how many he's making. So he's got 4. I'm going down to the attempts real quick. Let's see, 6, 11, 12, 9. He needs to hit 4 threes. 4 out of 12, right? That'd be a third. 33% is fine. But 4 out of 9, we start banking on close to 50% from deep. He's at 40. Let's put him at, let's assume he's going to shoot this 39% from deep, right? So for him to get 4, then he needs to make, what is that? He needs to take 11 times 0.39 is how much? I'm just trying to do math real quick, y'all. 4.2. Yeah. So he needs to take about 11, right? If he takes 10, then he's right on the cusp. If he takes 11, we got a little bit of breathing room. He's taken 11, 12, and 9. Let's do this with OG because I often say that OG and Dante are taking very similar shots and they take away from each other. And so that I don't really like to when OG's in, it's not quite the same for Dante in there. Since I know I have ADD, but let me at least don't forget y'all's bets right here for Joker and Jackson Hayes, all that stuff that you're talking about for LA. Definitely keep that in mind as I'll get through those here in a little bit. But finishing up Dante real quick, and then we'll close it out with the Lake Show for the last 15, 20 minutes of the show. And I saw Bogey in there, but for Dante, 11 threes. Let me get OG in here with him and say with OG Anunoby. All right, still getting those threes off against Philly. So OG didn't get as many shots. How many threes was he taking against this squad? Okay, last game he still took a good amount as well. He took 5 in this last game against them. For him to hit 2 on 5 attempts, not a bad look, but I was trying to see if he was taking too many shots away from Dante, and it doesn't really look like it. For DDV, what do we think his minutes are going to be? What have they been with OG here? We're looking still in the last, so this is head-to-head, looking in the last 10 with OG back. Yeah, I mean, he's still at 40 minutes. Jesus, I mean, he played some double OT, but I think you got to put him still at 36 minutes in this one. Like he and Josh Hart and OG, I mean, everybody's just going to get grounded into the ground. The only people that are going to see the bench at all are like the bigs that get subbed in and out, and Miles McBride and maybe some bogey stuff. But 40 minutes for him to take 11 threes. Philly's three-point defense is good. I do want to be clear about that as well. Let's pull up Dante real quick and see what his shot chart looks like compared to where they're weakest for this Philly team. To be honest, all right, so he's above the break. Obviously, all his stuff is like on the wings out here, right? Even more so than up top. Opponent defense, really good around the perimeter. You can see they're top 10 in every position around the 3. They have been a little bit more vulnerable down low. That's also without Joel for the majority of the season. So I'd be careful just assuming that this is accurate to the T at this point. But yeah, I think the look here for anything to get an edge, and what was the Dante? Minus 132 for him to 4. There's not an edge there. There's not going to be enough gap. I think what you got to look at here is Kelly. I think that's the play. Whether you want the points and the rebounds. Let's see head-to-head on the rebounds. Yeah, still pretty good. Let me put Joel back in there for a second. With Joel, still got the 7 against the Knicks last time. I'm really starting to like Kelly O a lot more and more. Do we go with the points and the rebounds? I definitely hate the assists. You know I like taking under assists for Kelly. So it's about the PR, right? Dude's been going crazy, honestly. And in the head-to-head, and that's with Joel back. Taking Joel out, it doesn't matter. Head-to-head stuff, like, that's a look for sure. Let's go Kelly Oubre, points and rebounds, and get that going. Yeah, what's up, Ivan? I'm with you on that, bro. Yeah, we're in agreement here. Copacetic. Let's put Kelly O on there for over points and rebounds. We know our guy Daft Preview loves him too, right? So we're going with that. Minus 113 on FanDuel. Quick reminder: tomorrow on the stream, gonna have Pips NBA up. Dude is a Cold Stone killer. Like watching tape for instance, right? This dude watches film. He's going to be on the show tomorrow. He also created Props Madness, which we use all the time. So really enjoy having him on there. Just want to make that clear while I'm filibustering and putting Kelly O on the ticket. Everything on the bottom line, as always, going to pin the comments. I was bad about that yesterday. My apologies. I did not pin the bets to the video comments, but I'm going to do that here in this one. We struggled to start off the playoffs, y'all, just so y'all know, too. I'm not trying to duck that. -5 units since the play-in game started. 2 losing nights and 1 winning night. But we got to win it back. So we're gonna keep going here, obviously. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Putting Kelly O. I know we like to fade Kelly O, but this is the other one. Over 18.5 PR. Yeah, that's a good look, honestly. I know it's the Knicks, but this is a dude that's going to be driving to the bucket with his head down in a way that I like. So we get -113 on FD for that. 0.5 U for Kelly. That edge is there for us. I got to imagine even at -113, we get a good edge there. So everything's scrolling on the bottom. Make sure y'all check that out. And we're going to keep rolling here. I will look at Bogey real quick. How many minutes do you think Bogey's going to get? You know, that's what it comes down to. How many? And only 10.5 points in rebounds. 7.5 points. Interesting indeed. What's his minutes at? In the last 3, up a little bit. I don't think anybody missed much time for this team in that time frame. So, I mean, there's just these random games where he's not a good matchup, and I'm not sure how to consider him for this matchup. Let me look at what he does on offense real quick and see why there might be reason to give him a few more minutes against the 76ers squad. And he has not. Oh, he played them once right here when the Knicks lost by 6 to this team. Bogey above the break. Yeah, so Bogey above the break is a lot of what you're seeing. He hasn't taken quite as many mid-range as I thought he might. But this Philly defense is really good against the mid-range. I'm a bit nervous to take Bogey just because I don't think the matchup is great for him. Let's put him in courtside pal for a minute, see if that gives us any indication of the type of shooter and scorer that he is and why he might get points in that one. Or rebounds or anything. But his shot profile, 10th most points against this team. His scoring profile, I hate when they're in such big contrast because sometimes I get a little bit confused as to the difference between these two. And you really got to go read the difference between them to feel good about it. Shot profile still in the top 10. Second fewest points to his scoring profile. Let's see his playmaking stuff against Philly. Might be a little bit more ripe for some dimes against them. Let's see if there's anything to that. Oh, this is rebounds. I'm a clown. Rebounds against Philly, not going to be there for our boy. Assists versus Philly also don't look like they're going to be there for our boy. 5th most. So there's a reason his props are so low. And part of it has got to be that this is not the best matchup for him. But he has been getting a bit more burn and a bit more usage. So in the last 10, he's at 10 points per game. He is averaging 16.5 minutes. That's the terrifying part. He's got to really do it quick. 8 field goals a game as well in the last 10. And you take out some of the smaller ones. So let's project him for 20 minutes. Can we? Let's project him for 16 minutes. I'm going to have to do it that way. Let's go to 16 and cap it at 20 because I don't think he's getting more than that. So 16 to 20 minutes, this should help us get a little bit more of a feel because he's so all over the place with his minutes that if he plays 16 to 18, right, and he's averaging 18 in this time frame here where he's playing at least 16 to 18, now what does that do for us? All right, obviously a lot more green because we know he's getting the minutes. And the field goal attempts are up at 9. So 9 to get 8 points, 4 for 9 for Bogey, I'm fine with if that's what you think he's going to take. Even at 42%, right, making 4 field goals right here, that gets you the 8 points that you need, not even counting a 3 that he might take. And a lot of these shots are from 3. So now I'm feeling actually really good about this, to be honest with you. There's not much that scares me because if he does get run off the 3-point line and he takes that shot there, that's a pretty good look. Let me go back to these game logs real quick. Why is Orlando coming back? Is Franz scoring? 13 points. Okay, so he's gotten 5 in this quarter. Don't love that. Moritz! Look at that. Mo comes through. 10 and 5. Now we just need to hang on to this bet here for Franz to stop shooting the ball. And if Cleveland could just run away with this thing in the last 7 minutes, that'd be great. We go 2 for 2 to kick off this game. Buy back some of those 5 units that we lost. So way to go, Mo. I was really nervous, but I love that read. So I can't believe that. All right, moving on. Yeah, Pips is on YT. If someone was asking for Pips, it's here. I'll just show you right now. My guy, Pips NBA. He is, it's just Pips NBA. So he's got his own website, the Props Madness. He's also got his own YouTube channel that he goes on. and he is a killer for sure when he's looking at this stuff. Pay no attention to the fact that he's an Arsenal fan. I don't know what that's about, but he is a Rockets fan too. All right, we're gonna have him on tomorrow. I am starting to like this bogey stuff and just distracted myself from what I wanted to look at. Going back to the game log here. My bad, y'all. Terrible hosting. All right, going back to when Bogey played on this team in this series, which he's been there for. Come on, fam. Let me go back. All right. Which games did Bogey play against this team? Head to head, he's got 1 so far with this squad. 10 points in that one. That was on the 10th, right? And so looking at the box score of the game on the 10th here. So for those of y'all that don't know, you can go to the advanced box scores on the NBA advanced stats page for all these teams, and then go from there. So, all right. Wow, I forgot about this 79-73 game. Bogey was in there getting points. Even look at our guy Kelly, even going crazy in that one too. Yeah, I'm really loving that bet. That's a good look that we found there. And then Bogey coming off the bench here, 18.5 minutes. This is right about what we average that we're predicting. If he takes 8 shots and needs to hit 4 of them, we like that too, especially if 4 of them are threes and he only needs to hit really like 1 of those. Let's look at the matchup real quick and just see if we can bank on that being the matchup again for him. So I'm going to put Bogey on offense. And I know I said I was going to get to the Lakers soon, but I'll give us a little bit more time since that took forever. Bogey on offense, Buddy Hield, Nick Batum. I think we'll probably depend on that again, and those being the dudes that guard him. I'm fine with those matchups for real. He did the bulk of his scoring on, bad players that only spent a few minutes on him. But he can get those switches, right? Like he's running a lot of pick and roll. If we're on his, we're on Bogey here. Free throws or something he relies on. Okay, that might be there for him. Spot up, pretty available against this Philly team, and transition as well. Okay, wow. He's scoring a lot. I thought he would be doing a lot more pick and roll ball handler stuff for this Knicks team, but not really. So that means he is a likely scorer. I love this look. I'm going over 7.5 points for the kid. Definitely not a kid, but for Bogdan. I'm just doing Bogey, bro. We're not doing this. Bogey over 7.5 points. I do think he's likely to take the 8 shots that we've got him projected for in 18 minutes. So we like that if he's going to take 8 shots in 18 minutes, but we need that to happen. So what is my juice on that real quick? And we can move on to this next game. Dante, I passed on the threes in case y'all, I didn't want to make sure that I was leaving y'all hanging. I'm just over that for Dante, even if he does take a lot of them. Okay, this has gone up. So you can get 8.5 for some plus money if you want it. On DraftKings right now, or you can drink the juice at -122 on FanDuel, which is what I'm gonna do, and not have to, because I think four makes for Bogey is a good prediction and projection in this one. So we're going -122 on the 7.5 on FanDuel, or no, that's not FanDuel. Apologies, that is on FanDuel. On FanDuel for 0.5 units. I think that's a great look. Thanks for having me look at that. I believe that was you, Free Sauce. Good look on that one. All right, let's get to this this Laker game, and we can call it a day for this one. So I can get some of these projections videos out for tomorrow and do a little bit better job than I did last night. I was at a wedding, not much I could do about it. All right. But shout out me for not getting hammered and being able to do this live stream today. You know what I mean? Looking at a couple things y'all were talking about. First of all, LeBron James with a bullet. It's game 1 in a series that I trust this man to. Let me see real quick. StatMuse, LeBron James, game log last playoff. Let's do last playoffs. That should give us last year's playoffs. I think there was a trend with LeBron going over on points in game 1 of each series, but let me double check. All right, game 1 of the series last year, no, did not go over. Game 2, he went over, and game 3. So game 1, he was a little bit more passive, but this was a blowout, y'all, and he was still 8 for 16. This game was what? 128, 112. It was over in the first half, and then Ja ended up getting hurt right in that one, if you guys remember. So they didn't need him for as many minutes in that one. He only played 34, only got the 24, 8 threes. I think he's going to settle for some more jump shots than normal. But I'm going with the points. I guess there's not as much of a correlation to him just going off in game 1 like I remembered. Maybe I'm remembering the opposite, actually. Game 1 against Golden State, he failed to go over. Game 1 against the Nuggets, he did go over. Maybe the PRA is the play for LaBreezy. I didn't see anybody talking about. You're welcome, NBA. I didn't see anybody talking about the anything else besides the points for LeBron. Honestly, at any point, like anybody that I trust or anything like that, I just think the points are probably a good look. Let's look at his stuff recently. So head to head, 6 of his last 10. And there are some playoff games in here, right? These 4 right here that they got swept are those playoff games this season, gone over in both on the points. Looking at the Rebs over versus this team. Yeah, the Rebs are a pretty good look against this squad. On 3-2, how many minutes he played? He played 37 on 3-2 in this last game right here this season. He got the, my bad, he got the, were the assists high? Yeah, the assists were high. The Rebs were not, and the points were. So the points and assists for Labrizi against this team. Let me look at what he might be more likely to do on Courtside Pal. Let's start there as like if there's anything that indicates what he's more likely to do in the stat category here. I did bet the over 24.5 points because I got decent juice on it. All right, his shooting profile versus Denver. Oof, not great. Scoring profile versus Denver. Not bad. 12th most. Going to, it's really what I want to see is he more likely to get dimes or more likely to get boards, right? For the dimes, Denver is 19. They give up the 19th, so like 11th fewest assists to his playmaking profile on Courtside Pal. His rebounds, he's likely to get. I was already kind of feeling those rebounds for real. Let me look at his player rebounding chances versus Denver. So I'm going to players on NBA Advanced Stats, tracking, rebounding. All right, make sure that you change it to these exact filters. And then I'm going to go to, I'm on players as well, so I can see the individuals. I'm going to go to Lakers, and I'm going to do them versus Denver real quick. See what his rebound chances were like against this team this season. 11 of them to pull down 7 boards, and now we have 7.5. However, I would also contend that in that last game here, where he got 4 of them against Denver, where he was busy scoring and diming up, that was probably where he had the fewest rebound chances. He's bumping up against it. If I put the PR in here, in the PRA, yeah, the PRA is mad high, 41.5. I do think the points are a good way to go for LeBron. I'm just going to stick with that bet and say that that's where I'm at. But yeah, triple dub, let's get it. If you got that on there for some decent juice, let's get it. I don't know how many times he's done that in the playoffs at this point, but yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a good look here for the points. And I mean, he's definitely going to do what, like, if you take him for like 20, let's say you took him for like 25, 6 and 6, something like that, which I know is usually available on DraftKings for those numbers. You might be able to hit it. But yeah, Mike, you're talking about the, like, let me know what you like better in the comments, Mike. You like the rebounds better? You like the assists better for Labrizi? I know you always attack LeBron's props, and so you've got a pretty good feel for this stuff. Let me know what you think about that. But let me keep it moving as well while I wait for you to let me know if you like rebounds or assists better, and just say, like, yeah, that's a good look. I know Michael Porter Jr. as well, somebody that y'all want to keep talking about, seems to play really, really well against this Lakers squad. If we're looking at the PRA here, since going back to last playoffs for him. So the threes were a look, minus 162, because everybody always wants to talk about threes for this man, obviously. And look, this Lakers 3-point defense is atrocious. Just to show you what I'm looking at here, let's go to team opponent stats and see how many threes they're giving up per game. It is the 3rd most, as you can see there. That makes a ton of sense. And a lot of them from above the break as well. I don't have that up, but I'll pull it up real quick. If you go to team opponent shooting, so you can see where on the floor. In fact, I can just go to props.cash real quick. I'm sorry, props madness. Excuse me, Pips. Did not mean to mix up your site with a different one. Looking at MPJ. So opponent defense is terrible for the shots coming above the break. MPJ taking 41% of his shots in general from above the break. So it's a good look for him. The problem is that this juice is gone for the threes, right? You can see here, minus 145 is like the best number you can get for him to make 3 threes. He's made 4 against this team. 2 out of the 3 times they played this regular season. The amount of threes that he's taken against this squad this season, wow. During the regular season against the Lake Show, he only took 7 and 5 in these last 2 games when he was actually red hot, which is why he hit 5 of 5 in this last game against them, 4 of 7 in the game before. If he's going to be that open, needing 4 on 7 is not something I want to do. What do I get for 4 plus 126? That's doo-doo, man. They took away all the juice for him. If you do get a good Michael Porter Jr. prop on like on fantasy sports like Underdog or Prize Picks, I often say that we go with that as well. So yeah, you're gonna have to eat the juice on it if you want. There's no edge there for the threes for Michael Porter Jr. for me. Although I understand the look if you want it. Like finishing this up on Props Madness. Spot up, yeah, they're not as bad against the spot up. So that is, I mean, their middle of the pack is the Lakers defense against spot up. You can see 16th best. Coming off screens, they'll give up stuff. Coming off transition, they will. So he's not a bad bet for the points in general, to be honest. What does that look like if we just make it points for MPJ? So the overall shots that he's taken against them, 13 shots a game over his last 10. That's including the playoffs. If you take this season, 43 divided by 3 is what, like about 12? Yeah, 12 or 13. Yeah, shots per game for MPJ. So 13 shots to get 17 points, assuming like 7 of those are threes. It's 3 threes. You know, it's close. It's close on the points as well. Not quite an edge there because his field goal percentage against this team, 100% of his shots in this last game against them, 55% the game before. Those are very high percentages. I don't know if you want to bank on that, but you can also probably assume that the matchup for him is good enough that he's going to be open consistently, and they're terrible at guarding three. So I think he's not a terrible look, but it's not enough of an edge for me. One thing I want to look at, too, while we're in this game is Gordon, and I'll look at Jokic trip dub because I know we always want to talk about that, but Gordon I like to take against this Lakers squad because of that time that LeBron was like, you're not the only dude in the league that gets in the gym, because he actually respects Aaron Gordon's strength, right? He's not somebody that can get back down even by LeBron James and his strength. So I like him to be on there as the dude guarding LeBron and getting those minutes. If you look at the minutes versus this team, 33 over the last 10 in the playoffs last year. Let me just change this to just the playoffs head to head, right? They played 4 games last year, and he played 37 minutes a game in that series because he's guarding LeBron as the primary defender. So in that series, he didn't go over on the rebounds very much, which I can understand because LeBron, 1, is playing all over the place and outside of the three-point line. 2, if you're guarding LeBron and LeBron is taking the shots or taking most of the drives during this game, then Aaron Gordon's not in a position to get rebounds because he's busy defending the dude who's taking the shot, right? It's not likely that that guy gets the rebound as often as his teammates might. The points, yeah, it's all just down for him because he's really got to focus on guarding LeBron, to be honest with you. So I don't like this stuff that's been happening with him in the playoffs. He only went over all of his props once: points, rebounds, assists. Assists he went over twice. PRA, points and assists. But I don't know why we would take assists at such a crappy. Look at this juice. You got to take him to get 5 dimes in this series, and that is not something I want to bank on, with the potential assist being at 5.8 overall against this team in the playoffs last year. Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. Like, if anything, Aaron Gordon's an under just based on the way that he is going to be so focused on guarding LBJ. But let me look at one more, and we got a dip set. I promised Austin Reeves at the beginning. I apologize, man. That is terrible of me. He did well in this series last year. Points and assists is what I was asked about. And I know that was one of the first people in here asking me about it, and I let you down, and I apologize for that profusely. But let's get through it here. If you're still here, Jay Sanity, still got plenty of time for that game to come up. Why would Austin Reeves get his points and assists other than that he's been doing it against this team? So in his last 10, and this is playoffs, my bad. In his last 10 in general, is his minutes still pretty high? Yeah, 32.5 minutes. I think we bank on 33 or so. If we look at him versus Denver last year in the playoffs, his minutes in those 4 games were at 40. So yeah, they love his matchup in this game and having him on the floor in this series. So I think Austin Reeves already is probably a good look. Let's look at the potentials. 8.8 potential assists, averaging 5. So let's say 5 dimes on 9 potentials. Not bad. The points and assists is what you want to look at. Not bad for the 9 potentials. He's at 4.5 assists. So that's okay. I'm not mad at the 4 dimes, 5 dimes on 9 potentials. Still a lot, but maybe not a bad look. The field goal attempts versus this team in the playoffs last year was at 13. Do we think that goes up at all? Let me take off this playoffs filter for a minute and see what he's done against them in general. Wow, it dimed up hella against them this season during the regular season. You can see there 10 and 14 dimes in the 2 regular season games. And in the regular season, 17 and 14 potentials. Golly, did LeBron sit? Am I missing? Did I forget already that LeBron sat in one of these games? Let me put LeBron in here. With LeBron, no, he did not. LeBron was in all those games with Austin Reeves getting all these dimes. So that's not a bad look, especially with LeBron on the floor where D'Lo is less likely to get dimes. You can see this is with LeBron head-to-head against this team for D'Lo and his assists. A little bit better over the last 10. even with LeBron. But still, it looks like Austin Reeves is the dude who's not really impacted by LeBron's presence on the court and is someone they like to go to in this series as well. So I think the PA is a good look by UJ Sanity on what we might be able to expect from him. Let me do one more little bit of due diligence and to put Austin Reeves in here and see if there's anything to that according to Courtside Pal. And we can move the hell on, and I can get onto these projections videos for Sunday so we can get better ahead of those than we were today. My apologies again. Only had the 2 Eastern Conference games up. The shooting for A. Reeves against Denver, still going to be a good defensive team. Yeah, all the way second fewest points to his shot profile, to his scoring profile, also very good. Looks like 20th most points there. Dimes and the playmaking stuff, also not great, according to Courtside Pal. This is not a good matchup for him, according to Courtside Pal, and his playmaking profile, all of his different profiles on Courtside Pal. Check out, if you have any questions about the sites that I've been using, check out the links in the description of the video. Happy 420, Adriano. Hope y'all are going to enjoy that while you watch Hoop today. Yeah, MPJ. Okay, so, man, that's tough for Austin Reeves. I hate that Courtside Pal does not like this matchup for him. There's not much else for me to go on for Austin. Am I on Austin right now? No, I'm PJ. And I saw Michael Porter Jr. rebounds. I didn't look at that, so I'll give that a quick see as well. But finishing up Reeves here, I'm looking at how so he's shooting from above the break, and he likes to get to the rim, right, and inside the paint. So let's see, that's 57, about 80% of his shots, 75% of his shots come from either the paint or above the break. Above the break is not where you want to have to shoot from against Denver. That's probably what Courtside Pal is looking at. They are a little bit worse inside of the paint here, where he's taking a lot of his shots. So he's going to have to get in there for the points. And as far as what he does here down low, pick and roll ball handler, they're really good at defending, and that's what he does the majority of. But that might be why he gets the dimes, is because they don't give up points to the pick and roll ball handler, which you can see there. So that is really interesting, because the opponent ranked defense against the PNR ball handler is third best for this Denver team. They play that really well. I'm wondering about the roll man. Yeah, the roll man is where they give stuff up, right? So who's the roll man for? Obviously, it's Joker for this team. It's almost always Joker. He's not really getting too many screens. He's setting screens. I'm sorry. No, I'm talking about no, that's my bad. Who's the roller for? Yeah, it's AD. So AD is the roller for this squad. He might be worth a look as well. Although we're running out of time here, because I do got to get those projections videos up. So with all that said, I'm off of Austin Reeves, to be honest with you. I think AD is probably a good look to get his points. I can't believe I didn't even look at him until now. I usually stay away from AD because his stuff is so high, like 26.5 points and assists, 23.5 points. Actually has not had that much success against this team. He's a little bit more of a crapshoot. So if you're going to take anybody, then you want to talk about D'Lo threes, 2.5. I mean, boy's been cold lately. We know that. Head-to-head, it's a good 3-point defense. Yeah, I don't know that I like points as much in this game overall, to be honest with you. So be careful with that. I know we had a look at KCP, but yeah, I'm good on all these for now, y'all. I'm going to get this. If I have any more bets for this, they're going to be in the Discord as well. So make sure you check that out. Let's go. Is that game over? Can we celebrate together? Oh, he's at 14. This game's still going on. God dang it. He's at 15, rather. Okay, so he can hit a 3 if he wants, but let's chill out on the score. We only got 2.5 minutes left. Feeling good about that. All right, let's sweat out this Franz. I'm going to watch the end of this game right now. I wish I could put it up for y'all, and I can't. Discord, jump in there. Description has the link to it. Back tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to be a little bit more prepared. Going to have Pips on with me as well, and going to have those projections videos coming out throughout the rest of today. Only have 4 hours until I got to be out of here. So I got to get going. But appreciate you all. Definitely subscribe to the page if you haven't yet. It goes a long way. Liking the video as well. Everything free right now, so I'm just doing this for the people and enjoying the community that we're building here. So best of luck the rest of today, y'all. See you guys a bit later tomorrow. Check out the projections videos. And until I do talk to you, happy betting.